How many deep breaths have you taken today? Sometimes when we're stressed and incredibly busy, it's not really something we think about. So how is our breathing? Are we doing it right or are we doing it wrong? For me, breath work and acknowledgement of my breathing has really increased over the pandemic to help my mental health. I've started doing meditation every morning for 20 minutes, which really helps me just clear my emotional state every morning, start afresh. And it's maybe quite positive, actually. But I wanted to know more from Nevsah Karamehmet, an international expert in breathing and behavioural sciences and the founder of Breath Hub, which is an app of guided breathwork meditation. I had something to ask because it made me confused. Are we breathing wrong?
First of all, we need to understand that respiration and breathing are different things. And if we are alive, we are probably respirating well because that keeps us alive. But we might not be breathing well. And breathing, like all behavioral habits, like people learn tics and people learn different postural habits, they are learned, they are physiological habits, and they are learned and they can be fully dysfunctional. So you might be during the whole day breathing too much in the diaphragm, or you might be breathing not at all in the diaphragm. You might be breathing too deep or too shallow. So it's kind of like there is no right way of breathing. Our body needs to be able to breathe in all ways. Like we need a flexible body to be healthy. We need a flexible breathing habit to be healthy as well. And from childhood on, we somehow learned dysfunctional breathing habits so that we could cope with some different emotions, so that we could keep ourselves in a different state, mostly kind of like an altered state. It's kind of like when you look at the fight or flight reflex everybody is talking about. When we go in that fight or flight reflex, we change our breathing pattern. So when we panic or when we are in fear or when we don't want to feel or connect, when we want to disconnect from our bodies or our emotions, we change our breathing, and then it leads to all kinds of symptoms. There are more than 200 symptoms that are being triggered by, perpetuated by, or caused by different breathing habits.
Right. This makes so much sense. And you know what? I've only just started meditating, and I've realized that it really does help me, mind and body. Sometimes, this sounds a bit of a weird description, but sometimes I feel like I've gone swimming because I've taken so many deep breaths and, held the breath as well. And it kind of clears the emotional state. So I do it every morning. And I used to not understand meditation. I used to not get it. And now I kind of understand that it just kind of silences my morning chatter in my brain. And it makes me realize, I'm in my body. Like, taking it slow is one of the best ways to kind of just get up in the morning. And it really has helped me because I'm really using all of my diaphragm, my whole breath work. It's something that has really opened my eyes.
Yeah, like we do exercise, like we do physical exercise, we do need breath work as well. Like in meditation, we use breath awareness techniques. We don't use breath work as in breath work. You practice with your breath, with different techniques, like you said, using the diaphragm, using different areas of our body to breathe. In breathing awareness, which is mostly used in meditation techniques, we just sit down and watch how we are breathing and what the breath is all about. So I think to get aware of our breathing pattern, breath awareness or breath awareness exercises are very much important. And then moving to breath work, because like exercise, like we do yoga or flex, stretch our bodies or do physical exercise, regular breath work is very much needed to have a healthy body, healthy mind, and then, just to be a healthy individual.
I also understand that a lot of people, when they're stressed, this is mainly like something to do with a situation where they're at work and they haven't really been concentrating on their breath, where they actually take barely any breaths, or if they do, it's a short one. But then when you take a big breath, you're like, oh, I needed that. So do you think we've become more in tune with our breath and body since the pandemic, or do you think COVID itself has made us more anxious? Because I don't know if I would have started meditating if it wasn't for COVID, but at the same time, COVID has been a real anxiety-inducing time for the human race in this generation.
Yeah, I think the whole pandemic period has made us more aware about what's going on, in our bodies, emotionally, mentally, because it's like when you stop and when you connect within, you start getting aware of what's going on, what's going on with your life, what's going on in the mind. So that's good. But as far as breath work, I think we also understood the importance of breathing. There are now more and more people interested in breathing, and all of the breathwork schools and all of the breathwork experts, teachers are gathering together, doing some projects. And like Breath Hub is one of those projects. We gathered as breath workers, breath experts from all around the world, more than 250 breathwork experts gathered together, tens of different breathwork schools and tens of different breathwork courses, and more than 1,800 breathwork sessions, techniques, everything you need around the world. Word breathwork is now inside an app.
So what kind of breathing techniques do you recommend? Can we do one now?
Yeah, sure. Especially, I think there is one, it's called coherent breathing, or it's called balanced breathing. I think especially in times of anxiety, in times of, when we lose our emotional balance, I think it's very important to use that technique because it balances the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, and it calms down the nervous system, and it calms down anxiety, hypertension, panic attack, all those panicky, fiery feelings. So whenever you feel panicky, or when you feel kind of like an anxiety, panicky feeling starting, you can just, sit down, close your eyes, and start watching your breath come in through the nose and leave the body in through the nose, in and out through the nose. And then you can start counting to 5 as you inhale and counting to 5 as you exhale, and balance the inhale and exhale. And it's very always important to connect to the inhale and connect the exhale when doing this exercise, when practicing this exercise, which means no pauses in between the inhales and exhales. So breathing in through the nose for 5 and breathing out through the nose for 5 for just a couple of minutes will change everything.
Big thanks to Nevsah for speaking to me, who's an international expert in breathing and behavioural sciences and the founder of the Breath Hub app, which you can get now.